the Fishkill document. He's made the Fishkill document the latest and greatest. So I am, the zoning revision committee says use the Fishkill version, and they're the ones that created the other version, and I certainly am all for it.
Has that been adopted by Fishkill?
I'm not sure. So they were having a second public hearing on, I forget if it was last Wednesday or last Thursday. I have not, and then the secretary's office manager was going to be out of the office for a couple of days. So I don't know if they adopted it. But he seemed pretty sure that they were headed in that direction. So.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty comprehensive law.
Well, I do like the small
You're
cell
next,
language. I do like the small cell language in the Fishkill version. I'll say that much. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what's lacking in ours. I mean, I think ours does talk about antennas, but I mean, that's really what we need to update.
I totally agree.
Bennett, you had a question or?
Yeah, I sent an email to the board members. I just wanted to point out that adding additional language about the ADA, I think needs to be carefully considered. I don't know whether it's in the original Fishkill language or not, but the locking us into language on the ADA may in fact go three different ways, which I pointed out. It may in fact mean that people under the ADA could say that they need this type of 5G, and that we were not providing it to them because they had special needs or disabilities. The court cases that's one for, say, at-home schooling of severely handicapped individuals. The second one being that I don't know what it does to the rest of the town's responsibilities under the ADA. If we're putting language in on the ADA on one specific thing, could somebody then say that we are discriminating in other areas by not including that kind of language, which would then move us towards having to do more ADA things more quickly or under a court order. And third, I'm not sure what putting the language in there does for people who have electromagnetic sensitivities. The cases that I have read, the most recent one, it did not recognize that as a disability, but it did recognize people who perceive that they have a disability to be covered under the ADA, whether it's electromagnetic sensitivity or not. I just think that putting that type of language in there when we are clearly not experts on this, nor do I believe the attorney that we're contracting is either. I would suggest before we do something like that, that we reach out to the Office of Civil Rights, who does offer technical assistance on this.
So Bennett, I've read through twice the Fishkill amendments. I don't see anything in there that jumps out as ADA ruling. I know that they were waiting for another draft, a final draft last week prior to their public hearing, whether that included the ADA. And Andrew wasn't specific or clear about what he was talking, but I agree we should go careful there. And there are sources that we can reach out to have that discussion. Richard?
Yeah. Well, just, and again, none of us are experts on this.
Right.
I do know, and I think Bennett's correct in checking it out, but I do know in the FCC originals rulings on 5G, and I don't know how they would do this with ADA or fight it, but they weren't, you cannot, health reasons were not a reason to deny a 5G application.
Correct.
And that was a general statement. I don't know how that fits in here, Bennett, or not. The other thing I just saw on the news not more than 20 minutes ago is the airport problem. That made the nightly news tonight. And
You mentioned.
then
that
the other
first.
thing is with 5G coming in, they're starting to phase out 3G, which a lot of medical devices connect to. So it's a quagmire.
You know, speaking of the phasing out of 3G, you all came in and signed vouchers today, and if you may have happened to notice there was a $340 charge, a voucher to ChargePoint, or
Right.
car charging company, and that was for a piece of equipment to update our charges to 4G and 5G capability, because the 3G that was in there was being phased out, I think January 16th or something, but pretty soon. So in order to maintain that communication, we had to upgrade that. So.
So I just wanted to say, and back to Bennett's point, and just want to clarify where we are in the process. So where we are in the process is, I think that what Bill wants to do is give Andrew a clear direction. Do you redline the Fishkill copy to make it match Woodstock, or do you redline the zoning revision copy to make it match all it needs to be? And so I think everybody that I've heard has said, yes, take the Fishkill copy and redline it. So we are definitely, you know, the Fishkill copy is not the copy we're reviewing for full review. It's the copy we're reviewing to see if we want ours to look like that. Once Andrew makes his updates, that's the copy we're going to get back that we're actually is going to be our actual review. I think it's a very fair thing, Bill, for you to go ahead, getting to Bennett's point, to say, hey, Andrew, when you do make the Woodstock copy, you know, we might even leave it to Andrew to do the research, as Bennett said, with the Office of Civil Rights. Maybe say to Andrew, you know, when you do make the Woodstock version of this Fishkill document, think carefully about the ADA and maybe do some research there, because so I think that's good to feed in, but just to make sure everybody's aware that the Fishkill copy, we're going to get another copy that does match Woodstock, and that's what we're going to review. And I know when the zoning revision committee had done their review, I sent an email to Bill. There were 3 points that they had brought up, and so it'd be good to make sure those get fed to Andrew as well, so that when he does the Woodstock version, he's already got some of our thoughts in there. But we will get a chance to review that document cover to cover.
So as I promised, I am going to just remind everybody too, this Fishkill law, if you read through it, there is in one section, I believe section L, it talks about setbacks for small antenna and small units. And it calls for a 300-foot setback from all residences, unless they're going on an existing telephone pole. If the unit is going up on an existing telephone pole, then that 300-foot setback is out the window. So, and this is the law that Andrew drafted for Fishkill. So I'm going to keep reminding everybody that Andrew Campanelli is not promising to keep 5G out of Woodstock. What he's promised to do is create a law that will give us control to regulate and dictate to some degree where these will go. And, you know, I think, again, I think it's a good law. I think we should move in this direction, but it's not going to keep 5G out of Woodstock. And anybody who's thinking that's the case is fooling themselves.
So Bill, were you asking for a consensus from the board to say yes?
I got it. I'll talk.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, perfect.
So with that, I'm going to move on to Susan, if you want to unmute yourself and give us a.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Still?
Yep.
Okay. So thanks, Bill, for asking me to come and inviting hello people of Woodstock. I'm Sue Copenhaver. I'm the director of the Office for Aging in Ulster County, and I was at a advisory board / public presentation a couple weeks ago for a home sharing thing that we're thinking about with Family of Woodstock, and was approached by a couple of citizens who were pretty concerned that there were quite a few people in Woodstock, village of, town of, who really were pretty food insecure, and asked me if I would consider putting a congregate site someplace in Woodstock. So we happened to be in the community center at the time. And although there's no dishwasher there and there's no 3-bay sink, the way that we've been doing congregate meals is bringing them in frozen and heating them up, which people seem to be okay with, and everything's disposable. So the Office for Aging wants to spread the word and wants to spread congregate sites a little bit more around the county. So I'm throwing it out there as a possibility that we could do a modified congregate meal at least once a week someplace relatively central and relatively easily accessible. It has to be handicapped accessible, have the bathrooms and everything. And, you know, the town center, the community center it probably would be appropriate, but there may be other sites as well. So the way it works is people register, they fill out an application, and if they meet, you know, certain income requirements, they don't have to pay anything, or else we ask them to make a $3 donation. So there isn't really a lot of cost involved. Most folks don't have to pay, and they get a third of their recommended daily allowance of vitamins and minerals and protein and whatever we need. And food's been really good. Gateway makes it and brings it. And somebody would have to be there to serve it. I'm not exactly sure how that would go, but probably Gateway. And heat it up and people eat, and we kind of watch what happens, and we present information to them. A nutritionist can come in, a diet tech can come in and do education. We can come in and talk about our services. We, excuse me, we can send in people from our office to talk about our services to people who may not know about them and may certainly qualify. And just so everybody knows, the Office for Aging covers people who are either over 60 or over or disabled and do not qualify for Medicaid. So I'm willing to take questions or thoughts on the matter.
So how long, if you were to come in one day a week, what is the time frame?
Well, we usually give it about an hour and a half, sort of 45 minutes to get the food ready and heated. In an oven, it would probably take about 30 minutes at least. And then, you know, a half an hour for folks to eat, and maybe 15 minutes on either side to set it up and clean it up.
So maybe
That
2
would be my-
hours.
Yeah,
Block it out.
the
for 2 hours.
maximum of 2 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
And you said it was once a week?
Well, when we start a new site, we try once a week and see how it goes. And if people are interested, we might add a second. That's what we did at the hub. And depending on how many people, we don't like it crowded, but if it's a big space, it's fine. We have so many people in Ellenville, for example, that we had to split the days. So we'd have 10 and 10 because it's a small room and they can spread out easier.
Will this be just town of Woodstock? Will it be just town of Woodstock residents, or it's open to whoever can get there that qualifies?
Well, usually it's people who live around there, but anybody can go to the congregate sites. We have people coming to the hub that live in different places around Kingston, and some of them live in Esopus. And, you know, if they can get there, the hub happens to be on a major bus line, so it's easier to get there. But I'm not going to limit people if they're, you know, sign up and qualify and can get there on a regular basis.
Susan, could you tell us where else you do this?
Yep. So we have, before, you know, pre-COVID, we had 2 days at the senior hub. We had 1 day historically at New Paltz Community Center, just one. We had 5 days a week in Saugerties, 5 days a week in Rosendale, and 5 days a week at Ellenville. And now we have 1 day a week in Saugerties and Rosendale each, still 1 day in New Paltz, starting 2 days at the hub and 2 days in Ellenville. And we send home the other 4 meals with the regular congregate meal folks who used to come every day. So that's the way we've had to handle it for COVID, not having a lot of people gathering very often. It's worked out okay. The Saugerties and Rosendale sites aren't terribly well attended anyway. I'm not sure what the issue is there. It may be a matter of a lot of folks not coming out or moved or passed away or something, but the other sites are pretty well populated right now. And from what I understand, people wanted something to happen in Woodstock. And I also understand that I think one of my predecessors was also approached by somebody there, but I didn't really know about that. So I just found out.
Susan, speaking of COVID, what do you put restrictions on such as vaccination, masks? How does that all work?
Well, we certainly strongly encourage people to be vaccinated. They have to wear a mask at all times except when they're eating. And they don't really linger a lot, or if they stay like they do at the hub, they have to wear their mask after they're done for the games, and they wear them during exercises. And people are pretty compliant with it. Most seniors in the county they have a much higher percentage than the general population of being vaccinated. But certainly if you have people in the town who are unable to get to the vaccine sites, they can call the hotline and get it done at their home too. So, there's ways of doing that as well.
So I have a question. Where did you say the senior hub is? Is that in Kingston?
Yeah, if you know where somebody knows, it used to be some sort of department store many years ago, this long kind of one-story building right next to the Kings Valley Diner. It's where DSS is, Department of Social Services, and the
gotcha.
Family Court's in the same building.
Okay, cool.
VA agency is in there.
Okay, and I guess my other question is, and so this is certainly a different setup from the food pantry, but Woodstock does have the food pantry, which is different. It sounds like what you're doing is you're providing one meal that people would eat when they go to one of these sites, but then 4 meals that they could take home, and that they could have like a dinner every 5 nights a week, because they could have a dinner at whatever the facility is, and then 4 more dinners they would take with them and have later. So I'm trying to relate it to other food programs. I know that Kingston does have People's Place. I know Woodstock does have the food pantry. I know that, and you're focused on seniors, and maybe that's the difference, because these other things are focused on, not just seniors. And I also do know that in Kingston, St. John's Episcopal Church does house the angel food, which is for people who are infirm, not necessarily seniors, but infirm, can't get around and need somebody to bring food to them because they have some illness or disability of sorts. So it's just, I'm interested in, your program looks excellent, and I didn't know how much you try to interface with the other ones, or is each one just an independent one doing its own thing?
So most of the offices for aging have 2 meal programs. One is home delivered meals, which we also do. We deliver 5 meals a week to people who are isolated, can't get out, but they're pre-prepared. They're not bags of food, they're not cans, they're pre-prepared. And a lot of these folks really don't have the wherewithal to prepare their own meals anymore.
Right.
But this idea is another offshoot of our nutrition program, and that's it's just called congregates. It's congregate eating, congregate sites where people actually get together and eat. The whole point is to bring them to the site to eat together, and not just bring meals home. Normally, we much prefer to have people eat together every day. But
so
right
it's the social
yeah,
aspect.
that's the way it was before COVID, and it worked really well. And we were able to meet them, and we'd bring educational programs to them. The dietitian would come and be able to talk to them about meals and diets and things like that, as well as the diet tech. It's a perfect opportunity to bring other groups in to talk about food. Cornell would come in and talk to them. I mean, we really actually prefer it to be in person.
Right. Well, I
And
know
we're not going to start off with 5 days anywhere. I'm just going to start off with 1.
Right. Right. And I'm sure that that Woodstock, we certainly care a lot about the seniors, and there are a lot of we have a number of senior programs. So this would be excellent. I know that we're very focused on seniors, and this sounds like another excellent way to focus on seniors. So you're asking from us permission to use the community center for this purpose, or what is your ask today?
Well, it was to just talk about the program and find out if it's a viable addition to the town, and if the community center is not open, is there another couple of places that I could investigate which might be appropriate? Although I think the community center could work, I don't know if there's rent involved. I'd prefer not to pay rent because we're paying for all the meals. So they're $10.50 a piece. And if 10 people come, that's $100 that we're paying, that we're not getting any money for. So
Mhm.
we're trying to do the right thing, and I would really just prefer not to pay, to be honest with you.
Sure.
We have to
That's more
pay in
than
another
fair.
place, and it's just, we have to pay for all this stuff, So we want to do it, but it would be nice if it was not going to cost us anything on the other end.
So I
So-
would suggest we all think about it. We can reach out to the other communities and see what their participation is like and their experience. And maybe at the beginning of the new year, we can have an answer for Susan. Also, I'll take a look at the schedule with Jackie, the use of the community center, and see what makes sense over there.
So
We do have some senior programs, so maybe we could, have you segue into one of the programs.
That
So,
works well,
and-
yep.
Okay, Bennett,
I just wanted to thank you first for coming and giving us this information. And to just simply say, that simply ask, would cost be prohibitive if we decide that we don't have the available funds to pay for this? You're not going to be able to do this yourselves. Is that correct?
You wouldn't have to pay anything.
Well,
It would-
we have to pay for the senior center or for the community center.
Right. So what would the prorated amount be for 2 hours a week of using the community center? Do you have a standard rent that you have? I mean, no, it's not going to put me off. Like I said, we have to pay rent in another place. But it's something, all the rest of the places, we don't pay anything. One we
Got it.
own,
Okay.
two we own, actually. One doesn't charge us anything. Saugerties doesn't charge us anything, but Rosendale does. And I just, the ask is there. What you do with it is up to you.
right.
And I guess it would depend on the amount too.
Okay.
I'm sure we could forego that rent, but again, let me look over with the town clerk and get back to you with the
Okay.
schedule and the board. Maria Elena, and then Laura.
I just wanted to ask, I know you mentioned something about Gateway, that they've got their own routine or process, but if you need any help with volunteers, I'd be more than happy to jump in and help in terms of, logistics or whatever you need for volunteering for this effort. And as well as publicity too. So
Well, that would
social media.
Publicity is what we're really going to need. And
Okay.
it's really much easier to make this work if we have a couple of champions in the town who
Mhm.
support it and who can pass the word.
Okay.
I know that the woman who originally approached me through email seems to know a lot of people. I mean, we're more than happy to go to the Woodstock, the senior housing there and talk about it. We'll talk it to anybody, but I can't get to everybody. And it really helps if people in the town have a way of kind of, plastering the sidewalks with the information. I appreciate your offer. The way that it's been working really well at the hub is we have one either staff member or gateway person and then a volunteer. And we are lucky at the hub to have a volunteer who helps with the meals. And we just have to have 2 people to count whatever money we get and to make sure all the meals have been delivered properly at the beginning. So that's really the only thing that the volunteer would just help with the meals and hopefully eat with them and, things like that. It's a nice couple of hours of time to do that.
Great. Keep me posted.
Laura?
Thanks.
Okay, so a couple of questions. The first question to Susan. So as the Ulster County Office of the Aging, is that a part of Ulster County? You're part of Ulster County government per se?
Yes.
Okay, so that being said, the question for the board, I recall at one point we were trying to have somebody making meals, I thought at one of the firehouses. Did that ever happen or not happen, or did anybody remember that?
Something about, right, the firehouse was a couple years ago, right?
I
Laura?
think it may have been the same program, this program.
Oh, okay.
Was,
But-
no, Susan?
no,
How
Susan
long
says
has this
no.
been going on?
Our congregate meals? they've been going on for a long time, but we've never done anything in Woodstock as far as.
No,
I
no,
know.
no. You didn't do anything, but I think there was some conversation with somebody from the Office of the Aging. This is going back 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
And
somebody else who wanted to do this, you mean?
yes, and there was some talk, and I don't remember how or why it stalled. It could have been just before the pandemic, but I don't remember.
Okay,
Okay.
so anyway, it didn't happen. That was, I was just trying to verify it, so it didn't actually happen.
They
So-
have
so
a
I
nice
know-
big kitchen with a double sink and a big stove and lots of counter space, so.
But they'd have to
That-
agree.
Yeah.
They have to agree. I'm thinking of Sites, and Sites Community Center is one, but the fire district is a different district from us, and we don't, they don't report to us. They're their own entity. But my point is, I would love, I know Bill said we could think about it, so I've already thought about it. And so my answer is, I would love to see us find a way to do a 6-month pilot in, if we could do a 6-month pilot in the first half of 2022, it would be a pilot. If it's town space, I would see us not charging anything for the town space. Being a 6-month pilot has a finite start and a finite end. So if we all think it's working, great, we can continue. If anybody thinks it's not working, we don't have to continue. But as much as this town has a history of supporting our seniors, and this sounds like a wonderful program that Susan's bringing to us that can be a huge support to our seniors. And I would love to see us give it like a 6-month pilot. So that's my answer. Everybody else can get back to Bill whenever you want to, but that is my answer.
Thank you.
All right, then. Susan, I'll be in touch in the next couple of days.
Sounds good, Bill.
Thank you
Thanks
very
a
much for
lot.
coming
Thank
to the
you for
meeting
coming.
tonight.
Thanks for the
and
invite.
Thank you.
Explaining this out.
Merry
to us,
Christmas,
and
Happy New Year.
Merry
Great.
Christmas.
Same
Same
to
to
you.
you.
Okay, with that, I'm going to jump into a couple of resolutions. Be it resolved to accept minutes for meetings held on November 23rd, November 16th, and December 14th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I did have marks on 2 of those, Jackie.
Okay. Be it resolved to accept town clerk's report.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Be it resolved to authorize payment of audited vouchers in the amount of $242,819.47.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm being quiet on purpose because Lauren and Richard are having their big moments this month.
Be it resolved to authorize transfers for transfer sheet.
This is a big moment.
You didn't know, but now, yes, apparently so.
God, I hope not.
I hope not too.
Is there a second somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
second.
second it.
Well,
All
let
in
Lauren do
favor?
it because this is his big moment. So.
This is my big moment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to hire Michael Whitaker as a grade 1 full-time laborer for the maintenance department at a rate of $17.10 effective December 13th, 2021.
Second.
So Michael has been with us for, I believe, about 8 months now. He's been part-time. He's done a very good job. He's a hard worker. And if you remember back when we did the budget, I had said that we had in the budget to bring him in full-time. We've got a little extra money at the end of the year here, so we decided with the busy holiday season, we would start him a little early. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Be it resolved to hire Chris Magadopoulos as a full-time permanent grade 3 laborer for the wastewater department at a rate of $21.87 per hour effective December 20th, 2021.
I'll second it.
Okay, we did hire Chris as a temporary back about a month ago. We had to do postings for the union for that position, but we were in a rush as we were down a man there. Nobody else came forward for the job, and Chris did work for us for 3 years prior. He's doing a good job. He's back in the swing of things. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, last but not least, public be heard. Anybody have any
Merry
comments?
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
John? Hold on, John's got something. Let me get the stopwatch ready to go, John.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay, I sent you a photograph. Did you, I wanted to point out a situation on Rock City Road where the sidewalk is obstructed. And I sent a photograph to illustrate. I looked in the law and I didn't see anything to incentivize people. There's no law against obstructing a sidewalk. Is that right?
I'll have to get back to you on that, John.
What's the obstruction, John?
Yeah, where is it?
Well, first of all, it's those planters on both sides of the sidewalk, which makes you walk down the middle of the sidewalk. And then there's a merchant there who keeps a clothes rack out in the sidewalk at all times. And I drive by there several times a day because I live up there. And that sidewalk gets very heavy usage, especially on weekends, and it gets very crowded. People kind of walking past the obstructions and walking out into the street to get around the obstructions.
Where is this?
I think he's talking about Rock City.
Rock City?
Yeah, right across from the parking lot. The store Walkabout is the one that has the clothes rack out in front. And I think it's something to look at. I was surprised to find that I guess anybody, if they wanted to, could come and put a big concrete block in the middle of a sidewalk, and there's no law against that, from what I can tell. And a clothes rack. Now, there is one violation. Display of merchandise is not allowed in front of stores. So anyway, let me just ask that. Could someone take a look at that and perhaps ask the merchant not to display merchandise out in front?
I'll take a look at that, John.
It really does obstruct the pedestrians who are trying to walk up and down. That gets very heavy usage, especially with the new restaurant opened up in there. And so,
I'll take a look.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Iris, did you want to?
Comment on that. Maybe there's something under ADA, because somebody going by in a wheelchair is not about to go into the gutter if they can't get by. So maybe there's something there.
I will take a look.
But that could also apply to tables outside, right, on sidewalks?
Yes.
So just point that out.
Bill, does public be heard? Do you have a comment to make?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
I want to thank Rich and Lauren for remembering always during their time of service the most important phrase that goes into any body of an elected board. An economy of words is at a premium in these chambers. Thank you for that.
I'm not sure what he just said, Lauren.
What's the word that they use?
I have no idea either, but I kind of like the man, so
Yeah, what are you gonna do? For a Yankee fan, he's not a bad guy.
Yeah, he's all right. He's okay.
An economy of words is at a premium in these chambers.
Thank you.
You use them wisely.
I just want to say one thing, Bill.
I would say that about Lauren. I'm not so sure about Richard. Sometimes he can be wrong.
You would say it if I agreed with you all the time, but
Sorry, if there's anything that on Bill, what Bill just said, you may lose that. So.
Richard, if you agreed with me half the time, I think I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I will say that in my family growing up, if anybody said anything good about you, you got really nervous. So thank you anyway, but I think I'll just drift along.
Well, it's not their last meeting, though. We do have one more meeting come December 30th at 12 o'clock. It'll be a Zoom meeting to finish up the year, wind things down. But I do want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be safe. What are you doing? Are those antlers that you're doing, Jackie, or what?
It's a heart.
Oh,
It's a
it's
heart.
a heart.
You know, heart.
These are antlers.
We love you too.
I got
think
something.
Iris-
Well, let Iris go. Let Iris
Yeah.
go. I got something on the end.
Yeah, Bill, is there gonna be any January 1st swearing in little get together like you usually do?
I'll leave that
There
up
might
to
be some swearing, but I don't know.
the new Bennett, Maria Elena. Have you guys made arrangements to get sworn in on the 1st?
I have I have reached out to the justices, and I'm waiting to hear back from them about timing on that. I can update you
Okay.
as soon as I know that, and then we can put that out.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, let's see if we can have that at the next meeting. We can announce that on the 30th.
And the inaugural ball will follow, so get your gown ready.
We did have one of those one year.
Lots of sequence, Bennett, lots of sequence.
All right, any more
I
comments?
just want one quick thing. Since this is I want to thank, so I'm not allowed to handle power tools, so I want to thank the other geezers for putting up the framework for the map that's going into the cemetery that I worked on with the cemetery committee and Katie Jillinghouse. It's going up. Another edition is going in tomorrow, right, Lauren?
Did we get the roof on yet?
That's what I'm talking about.
The roof goes
Where's
on
Lauren?
tomorrow?
Lauren, leave? Oh,
Yeah,
He's
No, he's
muted.
there.
he's on
well,
mute.
I take it all back. No, yeah, the roof is going on tomorrow, I believe. So with the help of the highway garage.
Oh,
So
that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations and thank you, geezers.
mhm.
So, okay. Any more comments?
Well, and happy
Okay.
holidays to everybody.
Everybody
Merry
have a
Christmas.
wonderful, safe holiday. I hope to see you on the Village Green. And just remember, even though we're outside, please wear a mask. You know, it will be a little bit crowded, so be safe. And I'll see you
And
next
thank you
week.
to the Christmas Eve committee too.
Yes.
They've worked very hard, and you know, there's a lot behind the scenes, and they were very busy today putting together food baskets for a lot of lucky Woodstockers. So I thank you for that. And with that, I'll call for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good
All
night.
right, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.